Clean and pristine vocals are so boring. Nobody wants to hear clean and pristine vocals anymore. It's the year 2021.
Nice.
We're moving into a new era of saturation, of compression, of tuning and doing weird shit with your vocals. And people love it, and I love it. And I want to show you some of my favorite tools to make your vocals a little more interesting. Keep your listener listening. Let's get into it. Mix series. Welcome. I'm Bradley Deniston. This is Radium Records. Let's go. All right, so first things first, every vocal is going to be different. We get it. Okay, cool. But I'm going to show you guys about 3 different plugins I would use to make my vocals more interesting, give it texture, give it life, dimension, and keep your listener just kind of going, right? I'm going to go right into it. I'm not going to waste your time, so buckle up, let's go. And make sure you hit the like button on the video. It helps us a lot, all right? So the first plugin that I'd like to use on my vocals to make things a little more interesting, and I use it all the time when I'm writing as well because it just helps me get a different vibe. If I'm writing for a female artist, I'm writing for myself, and I kind of want to get out of my head and not hear my voice the way it normally is the little alterboy from Soundtoys. And I'll show you exactly why I use this plugin and what I do with it. I'll give you an example on this song actually that I'm writing right now. So let's listen to this little phrase here.
Another night on the town, hand in hand all alone.
Okay, so there's like some really nice texture and saturation to this vocal, which to me as a producer and a vocal producer makes it feel a little bit more dynamic, but it also kind of gives you a little bit more emotion in the vocal, right? It pulls you in a little bit like, oh, wow. Okay, what is he talking about?
Give your meat a good old rub. Yeah, boy, help me.
The thing I like to do with this plugin is I mess with the format shift and I mess with the drive and the mix. And I usually just blend in a little bit, and I'll just accentuate this a lot to let you hear what it's doing. So turning the wet knob all the way up.
Another night on the town, hand in hand all alone, right down the boulevard, floating out the window.
Okay, so really, really cool tool to give your vocal some texture, give it some, you know, the format is actually like the length of your throat. So it's, right? So you can literally take the format and let's try it like pitching it down, right? So let's make the throat longer, right? So I'll bring it down like 1.8 and I'll accentuate it.
Another night on the town, hand in hand all alone, right down the boulevard.
So what this plugin does for me is it also kind of brings the vocal up above the instruments if you're going to go for like a dark passage sort of vibe. So that's the first plugin. Really recommend it, especially if you're writing a lot of music and you're just doing different styles. You're doing hip hop, you're doing EDM, even singer-songwriter stuff. This can just a little bit goes a long way. The second thing I wanted to show you is I'm sending this to a bus, which is bus 2. And this is a really, really cool thing. Hopefully you're paying attention, because this is probably one of the coolest plugins and one of the coolest vibes, I think, for like retrowave, synthwave, synth pop kind of stuff nowadays. Billie Eilish kind of shit, you know what I'm saying? Is this vocal synth, right? So this is from Isotope, and it is super powerful plugin, but the way I like to use it is for the vocoding effects and to kind of give myself more harmonic content and give the vocal more weight. Okay, so I'll show you this without it. I'm just going to bypass the bus and I'll pop it in and out and you can hear how much it's doing.
Another night on the town, hand in hand all alone, right down the boulevard. Another night on the town, hand in hand all alone, right down the boulevard.
Okay, and let me solo the vocal out for you so you can really understand what this vocoder is doing. It's vocal synth. And of course, I'm doing like some EQing, trimming, and doing some interesting stuff afterwards. But that's just shaping the vocoder to fit into the track for me, right? So here's the vocal synth and the vocal soloed out.
Another night on the town, hand in hand all alone, right down the boulevard.
Okay, so this is a pretty rough vocal. It's not like the final vocal passage, but it's going to give me different vibes, and it's going to give me different effects and different ideas and creativity when you're making, writing or doing anything vocally is, I think, of the utmost importance, right? It keeps us writing songs and making lyrics and getting vibes and feels right. Okay, so vocal synth, awesome. You can also use certain things. You could use different programs like Auto-Tune. I know has like the harmony engine and stuff like that. There's also by Isotope Neutron, and they have like a they have like the same thing where you can double the vocals, do harmonies, all that stuff. Kind of vocoder effect. UAD has a vocoder that's made by Softtube. I think vocoders are really, really cool when they're used to harmonize and like add stacks and dimension to a vocal, which this just thickens it out, right? Like when you hear it with and without.
Tripping, bro. You tripping.
Now for the last plugin and the last thing I really like to do to make vocals really interesting in a mix, in a record, and this is a huge one, guys. Like I really want you to understand how important this is. What I'm going to share with you right now. Super important to modern vocals, okay? If you're not doing this right now, you need to think this way. And that is to lo-fi vocals.
No! God, please, no! No! No!
No matter what, lo-fi your vocals. Nobody likes clean and pristine anymore, okay? If you're making really clean and perfectly cutting vocals, like it's just dated. It sounds like you're making records in 2002. It's just not cool anymore. So we don't want that. We want kind of like some dirt, some texture, some vibe.
Why are you running? Why are you running?
You can use anything. Like here's one I would definitely use. I would go into RC20 by XLN Audio, retro color. And the way that I like to use this plugin is I'll go into turn off the noise. I don't want vinyl noise, right? But I will do just a very, very little bit of wobble on the vocal, which that's not so important as going into this filter at the bottom. The filter is what's going to give you this kind of lo-fi texture and also paired with the distortion, okay? So this is like where your lo-fi is, distortion and filter. So get rid of everything else. I don't need anything else. And then I take the tone back and here's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to give this vibe. I'm going to give this vocal a vibe and I'm going to give it texture. And you can use RC20. You can use Clevgrand, has like a tape cassette thing, but anything where you can blend in, I think that's really important. And anything that has kind of retro distortion or filtering. In Pro Tools, there's built-in lo-fi. Lo-fi is a really good plugin in Pro Tools to use. But here we go. This is incredibly effective for modern vocals. And I'll just dial this in as I'm listening and playing back for you guys.
Another night on the town, hand in hand all alone, right down the boulevard, floating out the window. Another night on the town, hand in hand all alone, right down the boulevard. Another night on the town, hand in hand all alone.
Right away, we're focusing more on the mid-range. We're giving a nice vibe and texture to the vocal. And the lo-fi sound of this track and the lo-fi sound of the vocal fit together much better, right? We don't have that super sparkly top end that's all poppy and everything, right? If you are going for like a retro vibe and you want to like fit in the mix, you could use this on rap vocals. You could use it on anything. But remember, it's this pair, it's this distortion with tube. You can change the, from iron to tube to air to crunch or whatever. I really like the tube. I think it sounds really great. And then you can also hone in and focus on the frequencies. So if you wanted to just like distort the mid-range, right, in the vocal, you can bring this up and go, hey, I just want everything from 3K to 5K, right? And let's hear that.
Another night on the town, hand in hand all alone, right down the boulevard, floating out the window. I'm not the only one
vibey, really cool. And if you want that like indie sound, that indie pop, synth pop, you know, retro wave, retro future, whatever it is, right? With your vocals, you could use this on background vocals, ad-libs, stacks, harmonies to give more dimension. Maybe your lead vocals really nice and crispy and pop, and the other vocals in the background and the doubles and stacks are like this, and they're like kind of fuzzy and just have vibe. That's about it, guys. I really wanted to show you these plugins, and I wanted to show you how I kind of go about vocal production with making things just a little bit more interesting, adding texture to your vocal, saturation, using a little alterboy, using vocal synths, you know, things like that are really going to go a long way with your production. And you don't need to have them standing out so much like I do in this song, because this song is like a retro wave kind of vibe. You can just have like slight little bits of it in your rap track, in your trap, in your R&B, in your pop, you know, and it's just going to make the listener go, ooh, that's more interesting. Like, I don't want to hear clean vocals. Most people don't want to hear clean vocals. It's just boring. It's a dated sound. We're tired of it.
Stop it. Get some help.
So if you like this video, like it, share it, show some love, drop a comment, ask a question. I don't care. I'm here to help you guys. That's what I'm here to do. And I got a little freebie right there in the description. Grab 5 free channel strips that I've made for Logic Pro. Absolutely free, so you guys can go and check out what I'm doing, tweak the channel strips, and save them as your own, right? It's all yours. Enjoy. All right, thanks. Peace.